I'm feeling good. Back like I never left. I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard this from me. But there's a guy on here, right, that says that he is in the white supremacy Twitter group, right? And that he likes everybody, but he's infiltrating over there so he can bring the tea back to the black community. And he said that the white farmers of America, and I knew that's what FFA, Future Farmers of America, meant when we was growing up, was because they were trying to make America great again that way. He said that they were on there talking about where's all the black people at. We thought they was gonna come back and work on our farmland when we got rid of the immigrants, meaning the Latino people, because they kept saying that the Latino people had all the black jobs. And what Trump meant when he said black jobs was that they were trying to make us go back to slavery. Yeah, how's that working? Yeah. I'm just, like I said, I ain't one to gossip, so you ain't heard this from me. Let me know in the comment section what you heard about the future farmers of America, or around and find out farmers of America, or the whatever you heard about them. Let me know.
So let me get this straight. You want the descendants of the enslaved peoples of this land to forget about the enslavement period and all the things that occurred after. But you got white farmers in groups complaining that black people aren't returning to farms we never worked on to work for them. The perversion that exists between white folks' delusions of grandeur and thinking that we're gonna go and be forced to work for them, and the antebellum period and all that bullshit is
well, let me get this straight. The white farmers voted for that man because they thought it would put my people back in the fields? I will go.
So now that I have fallen down this rabbit hole, I just jumped onto Twitters, and I got an alt Twitter where I pretend to be a MAGA guy, and I saw a live, and I am not kidding you. This dude, all these dudes these farmer dudes in there, these farm owner dudes, they're saying, well, we thought the blacks would come back and do the jobs because they don't have jobs. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but black people have jobs, and you thought you were getting your slaves back is basically what you were saying. That's what you thought. It's still going right now, and I'm not going to post a link to it because I don't want to give these people a voice. But they think they're in a safe space on Twitter. They're not.
Didn't I tell y'all that's what they thought? They thought black people were going to go get them jobs in the field. Since the migrants are gone, we ain't got no jobs, so we gonna go back in the field and pick. That's what they thought. Oops. We worked for free in this country for 290 years. We ain't picking nothing for y'all. Y'all better get y'all white folks out there and go pick them fruits and them vegetables and take care of them cattle and the chickens. We not going out there. But I made a video. I can't find the shit, damn it. But I made a video when this all started, and I said they think black people are gonna go back and work in the fields. That's why Donald Trump said they are taking black jobs. They think that's what we're supposed to go do. And they're finding out real quick, black people ain't coming. Y'all can hold your breath on that one. We ain't picking shit for y'all. We will grow our own vegetables and take care of our own selves. We not going to them fields. Y'all better figure out what y'all want to do about this immigration policy and these mass deportations, or white folks, get your ass out there and go pick your own goddamn food. But we ain't coming.
That man said he went up on the Twitters and he saw them the white farmers, saying that, oh, well, we thought the black folk were going to come back and do the job. He said that they said the blacks. But he said they were convinced that when they started deporting these non-black people of color, right, that we were going to be taking their places back in the fields. Essentially, they thought they were getting their slaves back, right? They thought slavery was going to come back in full force. We were going to be like, oh, okay, let's get on back to them fields, because they don't think black people have jobs. But it makes sense, because remember when Trump said they're taking your black jobs? Y'all remember that? Yeah, what do y'all think he meant by that? He meant the people that are in the fields now, right? Which are the Hispanic community, the Latinos. He meant that they were taking our black jobs. See, because he thinks that black people's job is to be up in the field. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what he thinks. So it all makes sense now. They really thought, these farm owners really thought that black folk, they were going to deport the Hispanics, the Latino community, and that black people were going to go back to the field working for nothing. And they tell us to stop living in the past.
Y'all remember when it was said that we taking all the black jobs? They really thought that we was going to be looking for black jobs, y'all. And I woke up this morning, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw this guy made a video, and I saved it to my favorite, so you can go look for it. And he said he was pretending to be MAGA on one of those other apps. He said they were doing a live, and the farmers were saying that they thought that the black people would be looking for jobs to work on their farms. Now, you gotta be kidding me. Do they think we really looking for farm work? Do they not know that we are educated and we got degrees? And being a farm worker ain't even in the jobs categories that we be looking for. They really don't know how educated some of us are. They don't know how many degrees a lot of us have. They got to be really lost if they think that we want to come and work on their farms. They don't know that our parents and our grandparents growing up wouldn't even let us be outside if it wasn't no shade outside. Do they really think that we gonna work on a farm where ain't no shade trees at? I hate to disappoint y'all, baby, but you gonna have to get somebody else to do it, because we ain't working on nobody's farm. Never. The only way you gonna see black people working on a farm is if they own the farm, because we not working on nobody's farm as no workers. So I hate to disappoint y'all. If y'all thought those was black jobs that black people looking for, honey, you better think again, because black folks that I know got good jobs. We've had a black president, we had a black vice president, we got black senators, we got black congressmen, we got black CEOs, we got black doctors, we got black nurses, we got black psychiatrists, we got a lot of good black jobs. Now, I don't know what y'all thought we was gonna be farm workers for. We don't even want to work in the fast food industry. Those jobs, we don't want those kind of jobs. So, I hate to disappoint you MAGA people, but we don't do farm work. So get somebody else to do it. Don't like, share, comment, and repost. Drop in the comments y'all education and y'all good black.
So I guess I'm late to the TikTok knowledge that there were some white farmers that thought that once Trump deported all the immigrants, that blacks would then go into these fields and work their fields. Crazy. Oh, Patrol. You got and I don't give a fuck if if only one person heard this rant. You gots to be out your cockamamie tunes, delusional, on another planet, Mars, mission to Mars. Have you lost it? Like these people do, they cosplay the Revolutionary War and the Civil War and all these other motherfucking Renaissance ass shit way too fucking much to be.
Them farmers really thought we was going back to them fields. They really thought we was going back to them fields. You know what? My mother was the first generation on her mother's side not to be brought up on a plantation. Not to be brought up on a plantation. That's what I said. My grandfather had a 3rd grade education, but he left my mama 2 houses, property in the bank, property and money in the bank, with a 3rd grade education. And guess what? He worked in fields. My great grandmother worked in fields and cut that cane just like a man. You hear me? And if you think that Eddie Lewis and Victoria C. Jones and all the rest of my ancestors bust their tail in them fields for us to go back to the fields, absolutely not. That's not progress. We're trying to heal from ancestral trauma. We're trying to heal from that. That ain't happening. That produce could rot in them fields before we go back to them fields. They need to let them know that.
Fam, what is this nonsense I'm hearing about white Midwestern farmers thinking black folks were gonna come and work their goddamn fields after they mass deported all of the migrant workers? What in the fuck they don't know us at all. They don't know any about us. Like our own fucking parents and grandparents didn't size our asses, let us know everything about ourselves. Like when my grandmother looked at me at a young age and said, "Young lady, you need to keep your black ass in school and go on to college. Working outdoors is not for you." She knew me. She was right. So what did I do? Stayed my ass in school. Went on off to college. And now you're looking at a 6-figure nigga. What I look like picking Earl's corn. Earl can kiss my ass. If he could do my black job, I wouldn't have it, now would I?
Where is MAGA when you need them? Nowhere to be found. MAGA, look. Here's a Florida farm that needs employees. You said you wanted your jobs back. Look at all these jobs. You see all these trucks that's parked over here? And all these crops. All these crops, vegetation, and fruits that's planted in Florida, which is a red state, by the way. Do you notice there's nobody on these fields? Take a very close look. No one is on these fields. You said you wanted your jobs back. Now you got your jobs back. Now get to work. Okay? And they'll say, well, what are you saying? People should just run around and be illegal in America? No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is the people who had their documentations and had a chance to get their self on the right side of the law, why didn't you give them a chance instead of chasing them down, dragging them out of schools, graduations, out of their homes? Why didn't you give them a chance so they could go through the system, get documented, and work in peace? That's all we're saying. Okay? Because I know a lot of you will get this twisted and try to twist stories and tell, well, you want to break the law. No, we want to do the right thing by people. We're human beings. That's it. A lot of these people had their documentations in the pipeline to become legal so they can work in the United States. But you made sure that you sent ICE to take it away. So here's your job. Go knock yourselves out. Okay? And don't think you're going to get a pay increase from these farmers either. You still get the same pay, no matter what. You understand?
Keith Smith says most immigration workers left after the law took effect. So this potato farmer hired Americans. Problem is, he says, most show up late, work slower, and are ready to head home after lunch. Some even quit after just one day out in the field.
There's a Hispanic man that works for us, and I say, he's 52, and he'll make anywhere from $70 to $100 a day. I said, if you can keep up with him and do a good job, you can make that. But they're not physically in shape to do it, and, probably not mentally tough enough to do it, some of them.
That's fine, we're just gonna burn the fucking crops. Fuck it, let everybody starve.
Jerry Spencer turned to unemployed Americans, but says after 2 weeks, most couldn't cope.
The farmer says, start over here and end over here. And that was the extent of their instructions. With the American workers, they all had to be taught all this and separate. And in addition to the fact that their bodies just were not built for it.
On Twitter, white farmers have been complaining where are all the black people? Because see, they really didn't care that apparently they didn't care that ICE was coming and picking up their workers, because they were of the thought that black people would come and take their place and work for a lower wage. So you got, you can't have razor bumps in the military, you can't they couldn't Job Corps, they couldn't benefits, Medicaid, Medicare, because the assumption is that these programs that the government funds, only black people participate in them. So if we cut all of these out, they'll be forced to come back to the fields. Much like back when black women decided not to work, they made it a law that if any black woman wasn't working, they would go to jail. So white women wouldn't have to work. And so now they're shocked, we've taken all these things from black people. Why aren't they in the fields? And it's mighty funny how when all of the jobs were being cut and lost, the main demographic who suffered were black women. Over 100,000 jobs of black women were lost because you figured, if we get them out of there, they'll be forced to go into the fields. So you got rid of the DEI, thinking that we were DIE when we got out there. This is what happens when y'all be in black people business and you don't understand it. Because if we did to you the same thing you're doing to us, you would falter and crumble. Because you can't understand any culture outside of yourself, you don't understand that in our culture is embedded making a way out of no way. You don't know anything about that. You don't understand African American vernacular. When we say shit like get active or get in the field, you took it literally. We're not going out there. That food is gonna rot. We know what to do.
So I know I was talking about, the Latino vote before. The Viva vote for Donald Trump. Okay, well, let's get on to the white folks. The white farmers. So, word is out now that the white farmers voted for Donald Trump because they thought they were going to get black Americans in the fields. Because they also thought black folks did not have jobs. So when we put this all together, somehow the white farmers were convinced that black folks don't have jobs. We don't work. we don't work. And so they voted for Donald Trump because they thought, okay, he gonna send them in the fields. So Donald Trump and them, with their whole Project 2025, said, okay, so we got to make this happen. So we got to cut these DEI stuff, all this DEI stuff, to put black Americans out of work. When in reality, they put a bunch of white folk out of work just to get black folks out of work. And so all these cuts that are happening are to try and harm black Americans so much till they think that we're going to go into the fields. Now, when you think about that, that makes you double back and see why they want the Latinos out. Because the Latinos, right, to them, they are reproducing entirely too fast, okay? And so they're like, we got to get them out of here because Black Americans don't reproduce as fast as the Latinos. And so if we could get them out, then the Black Americans can take their place in the field. This is for real. And so now you double back to the black jobs. They're taking your job. Yes, you got to double back to what he said. They're taking black jobs, y'all. Like, they have all this down. Like, they have all this whole circle. So now let's go back to the farmers, if you're still with me, okay? Because the white farmers, that's what they believed was going to happen. So if y'all got all that straight, this is the message to the white farmers. The last thing you want is for Black Americans to be in your fields. Don't let the devil fool you. As a matter of fact, you might want to let the devil fool you to see what's going to happen. Well, I'm trying to tell you, the last thing you ever going to want is Black Americans in your fields. Nah, I'm going to let you fill in the blank on that one. And this goes to show that they will go to any lengths. Remember I said that, first of all, we had the Latinos, some Latinos, not all of them, just them Cuban ones, talk about you're next, right? To Black Americans, so they thought we was immigrants, okay? And so now we have the white farmers who are still living in the 1700s, thinking back to glory days, quote unquote. They thought with their vote, we were going to the fields. So you got one group thinking they gonna kick us out of here, and you got another group of people thinking that we going to the fields. Now this right here is a real mental problem, because people are literally stuck. I'm telling y'all, people are stuck in the 1700s when they think about Black Americans, okay? I'm telling you, their thought process, they sit around probably campgrounds and picnics and stuff and talk about how can we make this happen? That was their heyday. I'm telling you, when that freaking plantation house burned down in Louisiana, I think, right? That was their heyday. Now, I'm trying to say that was their heyday. When that plantation house down in Louisiana got torched, okay? I'm telling you, that broke them.
Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Fire. Woo, 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 woo. Nottaway Plantation down there right underneath Baton Rouge, home to 150-something slaves, is burning to the ground. Thank you, ancestors. Mind you, people love this God-forsaken, evil-ass place. Look at this place, it's the shit they got on this property, y'all. They got the nerve to call this fucking cursed ground a damn resort. It was owned by John Randolph. May he burn in hell continuously. And all his fucking family members. And I hope some of them on this page right now. I don't know if the ancestors wanted to remind us to keep up the good fight of faith or what. Nigga, I ain't never been so happy to see smoke billowing. God damn it. Look at the beautiful, beautiful footage. I know. Some of y'all say, Darian, this is a historical landmark. Fuck this historical landmark. Burn, baby, burn. That's where it's located. God bless you, ancestors. God knows I wish we could have been there to put something on the grill when this bitch burnt to the ground. Here's to many more burning up. Fire.
But anyway, that's just a little side note. But yeah, to the white farmers again, this is the last thing you want. The last thing you want is for Black Americans to be out in your fields. The last thing you want. Trust and believe. And next time, you know what? Stop basing your vote on how to harm Black Americans, because you're going to end up running into that wall that's going to tumble. Okay? That's what's going to end up happening. Stop doing that. All of you do it. Like, all of you. You had the conservative Asian Americans coming through with the whole Ivy League school. We don't want Black Americans there. Then you had the I will vote for Donald Trump Cubans, okay, who were thinking, okay, you're next, okay, we're not immigrants, so we're not next. And now we have the white farmer who thought that they were going to get the black Americans in the fields. And then this is all off of Project 2025. So now look where you got America. Look where you got the United States of America. And you know, a lot of people say, why black Americans think everything revolves around them? No, y'all think everything revolves around us because y'all make everything revolve around us. Y'all stuff coming out. So I know how stupid can you be? First off, we don't even like being outside.
Hold on, so let me get this straight. The white farmers in Louisiana, they're mad because people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. Let me run that back. White farmers are mad. The very farmers that voted Republican, okay, they voted for this, are mad that people of color won't come work on their farms for $11 an hour in 100-degree heat for 10 plus hours a day. I'm saying you get what you ask for. Hey, it's FAFO type shit, okay? But hey, don't be fooled. I feel like it's gonna come to a point where they're finna make people get on their farms. Don't count me to it. Because if 2025 was a checklist, hey.
So I just saw this video of this white man who's not MAGA, by the way, or at least he says he's not, but because he damn sure selling the look. But he says he has a fake account over on Twitter, and he joined this group of white farmers, and he's pretending to be MAGA just to see what they're talking about. So apparently they had this group chat or group call where the white MAGA farmers were upset and saying the only reason why they was because they thought the blacks didn't have jobs and the blacks would come back and work their fields. They thought they were going to get slavery back by but they have been saying loud and proud with their chest that immigrants were taking their jobs. Yet there are a couple of farms here in Texas that overnight lost 100% of their workforce. But immigrants was taking their jobs, right? Racism is expensive, huh?
Oh no, this is so sad. There are a bunch of white Texas farmers who are losing their farms right now. Because guess what? 100% of their workforce vanished. Wow. So all those people, you know, who got eyes called on them, they were working on the farms. So now that they're gone, they cannot sustain the farms. You know what's crazy about this video? Because I talked about this like 2 months ago when Trump brought over all these South Afrikaners, farm people, where we find out that they were not really even farmers. And I was talking about this and found out that a few of our dear white farmers here had started losing their farms because of promises that were made to them and was not kept by this administration. So now it's trickling down to some other farmers because now their workforce, they're gone. And I was seeing somewhere where somebody came over, and it was a Caucasian man. He came over from Twitter, and he was like, y'all, a lot of these farmers, white farmers, they thought that black people were gonna come and work for their farms. There's a lot going on in this country right now. You know, us heading into possibly World War II. But this is a conversation just to kind of talk about right now, that people are kind of seeing I guess what's the word? I can't even find the word, but the decisions that they made, they are coming back to hunt them. Let's just say that. So sorry to hear this, but yeah. So I do hope that some of these Native Americans that did lose their lands, that they do get back some of these farms that are being lost.
But here we go now. The farmers are complaining that they can't get American workers to work their crops. Duh! You think American people gonna go out there in that hot ass fucking sun for pennies? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, you ain't gonna find no American workers to do that shit. Oh, don't get me wrong. You can get American workers if you pay them. You're gonna have to pay them a hell of a lot of money to work in that hot ass sun. They looking at miles and miles of goddamn field. Oh shit. Come on now. You ain't getting American workers to do that shit. No sirree. American workers ain't working for pennies. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Get the fuck out of here. Ass down farmers. I don't even give a damn. Stop it. Stop it. No damn well you ain't gonna get American workers to work for pennies. They looking at acres and acres of land. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Wait, you mean to tell me Americans don't want to pick lettuce for $2 an hour? No. Now the farmers are crying because they can't find any workers. Ain't that something? After you pushed out all of the immigrant workers who actually did the job, now you're standing around wondering why Chet and Kaylee won't come pick your cabbage in 100-degree weather for $4.75 and a Capri Sun. Y'all really thought folks were going to jump at the chance to break their backs for pennies on a dollar. Hey, but you know what's even funnier, y'all? Some of these farmers say the American workers they do get, they don't even last the whole damn day. One guy said somebody walked off by lunch, and honestly, I support it. Listen, I wouldn't be out there picking strawberries and fighting bees and being dehydrated just so that farmer could sell those strawberries for $12.99 a box at Whole Foods. Negative. See, they've been telling you this lie for years. They took our jobs. Nah, Americans, you didn't want those jobs. You just didn't want them to have the jobs either. Now look at you, a field full of crops and not a soul to pick them. Next time, think twice before turning labor into a culture war. Cause now, it's just you and your own damn tomatoes.
And there's low. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on stepping. Come on. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on stepping. Shit. They don't like it, but I'ma keep on stepping.
Quick question to the white farmers and the MAGA supporters, and I know I'm probably stroking the flames, but I really don't care. What made y'all think that black people in this country didn't have jobs? Honestly, what made y'all think that black Americans, FBAs in this country, didn't hold jobs, weren't fully employed, especially when statistics have constantly been in your face saying that black women are the highest educated group in this country? So did you think that we were getting degrees and then going to sit at home and be stay-at-home moms? I just would love to know. Okay, and I know I'm inviting controversy, but I really don't care, because to be honest with you, I grew up knowing all black people in my community had multiple jobs. We needed multiple jobs just to exist because we weren't paid and allowed to be in the same spaces, even with the degrees. And the ones who y'all hate to have to report to or whatever, they are twice as educated, maybe even more, than everyone in the room. So again, what made y'all believe that black people didn't have jobs in this country? Okay, what made you believe that after you deported your own workforce, okay, that we were gonna go and replace that?
So I got the audio. Someone sent a DM me the audio because I have to hear like the entire conversation in order to get an understanding. Yeah, he literally assumed with all his heart that black folks were going to be in the fields because all the migrants were gone. And then yesterday Trump goes, well, now farmers need to take responsibility of their workers. So this has always been their end game. I never wanted to believe this, in all honesty, that they really thought we were going back to slavery. But now as I'm looking at the breadcrumbs and I'm looking at who Donald Trump has put in certain positions, all of these are white supremacists. Every last one of them. And he is really following the lead of Project 2025, which clearly states that. Not so much slavery, but we will be beholden to our employers. I'll be glad when black folks wake up. I will be fucking glad when black people finally come to their fucking senses and understand that it is us now. It's us against them, and we do not have to fight. What we have to do is move accordingly. Now y'all know y'all can't sit up here and tell me y'all don't know this now. That white man got on there and said it. He ain't the only one that's thinking this way, which means somebody done put it in their motherfucking heads that it was gonna be us out in them fields.
If there are any Midwestern white farmers on this app, I need y'all to confirm this shit. Did y'all really think black folks was gonna work in those fields after y'all got rid of all the immigrants? Y'all thought that we was gonna be working for y'all? Y'all on Twitter throwing it up, talking about Trump that took all the immigrants. We thought the black folks was gonna come work for us. I think the fuck not. I'm sorry, my ancestors didn't fight this fucking hard for me to get back in the sun, bitch. You got me. You better get all your little kids and get their asses some little sun hats and some visors and some sun cream and some suntan lotion and have them picking that goddamn vegetable. Y'all really wanted some indentured service, didn't y'all? That was not on my bingo card. Y'all really thought that shit? Y'all better go ask your daddy Trump to go get y'all people back. I said this shit during the election.
Y'all better check on your husbands if they come back from the job site looking like this. There were no more Hispanic workers on his job site, so they called him in, and now he looking like he's allergic to the sun. He is so stunned, both him and his wife are speechless. Y'all, that sun is not playing out there. Look at this guy over here. You think the sun is playing out in Mexico as well? Look at this. He created a whole shade hat with cardboard because his little bucket hat was not doing the job. And that's not all, y'all. The sun has been so bad, this company had to hire extra men to hold up this tarp on this roof so they can nail in the shingles in peace. The sun is out here playing no games. It is putting out God level radiation, man. Look at this. This man got a whole snowsuit on, y'all. Look at this. What? How do you guys feel about snow gear in 100-degree weather? Would you do it? Could you? And just to let you know, people are still seeing the two suns around the planet. Check this out, y'all.
Alright, you guys have to see this. Okay? Watch.
Check this out. Here's one. Here's two. Oh, there's a third one. Look, there's a third one. Look, it's faint. Y'all see that? 3 of them. They told us in the end times, y'all, that there will be signs in the skies. Y'all see it every single day, y'all. Multiple of them. If you ain't feeling this shift, it only means you ain't tuned in. And by the look of these comments, it look like everybody is feeling it, whether it be for the good or for the bad.
Get your ass out there in that motherfucking field and pick them potatoes right now. But y'all don't want to do that shit cause that damn sun will tear your ass up. Y'all ain't used to no damn hard work. Y'all used to doing this shit. Delegate. Point. You know, my people, we already done all this shit before. Welcome.
I mean, he said it. And we're looking at doing something where we put the farmers are responsible for the people that they hire. They're in charge of them. They're their responsibility. AKA they're slaves. He said that. I am not going to go through the effort to pull it up. Go find it. But he said that. He basically just said they get to own those people who they hire and, be their massa. Ooh, Black Talk gonna take that real good. I can't wait. Let's see how it goes. It's gonna be fire.
Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% workforces vanish overnight. So some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all their workforce. An exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased law enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. And this goes for unpicked crops. So there's crops that are just sitting there that are now left unharvested. And then also there's livestock. There's livestock that's gone unattended. And this is hurting not only the local economies where this is coming from, but this is going to cause food prices to spike, and then also it's going to cause food shortages. So this is another effect of Trump's stupid. Again, he's not going after the criminals. He's going after these workers. These are workers that are working on the farms. They're attending to livestock, and now we're all going to feel it. And these businesses, these farmers, farmers are generally not liberals. And a lot of them had to shut down. This is all because of Trump and his fucking racism.
Behind me is a strawberry farm, and I went to said strawberry farm to acquire strawberries. To my surprise, they required that I pick them myself. What you see here are not migrant workers. They're normal civilians, everyday people picking their own strawberries. This is the new America. All the jobs that immigrants were said to be taking, American citizens haven't applied for yet. Sure, you can attribute it to the low wages, but let's just up the wages for a bit. If it costs $10 an hour to pick strawberries, let's raise it to $25, even $30 an hour. At that point, that cost will trickle down to the customer. Strawberries will be the new caviar, and that's the problem. People do a lot of yapping. People follow other people's ideologies blindly, but no one thinks logically. Everybody thinks off emotion. Do we have an immigrant problem? Yes. Should we have taken care of it 40 years ago? Also yes. This country has been built on the backs of immigrants. It's a shame to wait this late in the game to actually do something about it. If you really wanted to tackle it, you should have just gave everyone who works here and pay taxes their citizenship more streamlined. Then focus on the criminals and the future people sneaking into the country. But no, people are just slow and idiots.
Never thought I was gonna lose this much money, this fast.
Jim is a Republican who voted for Donald Trump 3 times.
How do you feel about your vote for Donald Trump now?
Well, I feel like perhaps I should have considered some other options.
The past 2 years, Jim has been selling honey to the federal government, which then provides it to schools and food banks. But after Donald Trump took office, the USDA cut those programs suddenly as part of the federal government's effort to streamline spending.
For a lot of other local farmers around here, it was a major source of reliable revenue. For me, it's going to cost me around $150,000 a year.
$150,000?
Yeah, roughly 50% of my revenue.
That's a huge hit.
That's a massive hit.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms, it's a warning for American agribusiness, food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients. And I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening. With the food, with the harvests that are lying there, completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvests, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have Social Security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H-2A workers who are going to have layoffs. This is all under Republican leadership, not just from the White House, but from the Republicans that were elected in the state of Texas. And if you think this is going to stop at Texas, you've got another thing coming. And you want to know which farms are going to be impacted further down the road? They're going to be safe for now. There's a small percentage of farmers who are actually Democrats. And they understand how important it is to protect their employees, take care of their employees. Those employees who feel safe will keep showing up for work because they know the owners have their backs, which says something about these other farms where the employees are like, I'm too scared to show up. Let me add this final thing. This is going to impact farmers. They're at risk of going out of business. Who's going to jump in? The federal government to compensate them with our tax dollars. So now our tax dollars is going to be used to cover the bullshit leadership of this administration on top of the overwhelming increasing tax dollars being used by this administration to scare, to deport, to imprison people with brown skin. Like, our tax dollars are not helping everyday Americans at all. And this is just the beginning under Republican leadership.
So I'm a black farmer, and a lot of people are wondering, why are black farmers not panicking like a lot of white farmers? Well, let me explain to you the reasons why. It's because white farmers have been handed everything to them, a lot of them. Not saying all of them, but a good bit of them. And by that I mean this, MLK even pointed out, he says, farmers in the West and the Midwest who were white, they were given land, they were given money, they were given training, they were given a lot. Whereas the black farmers weren't given anything, and the largest civil rights settlement in U.S. history is Pickford v. Glickman, where you had a class action lawsuit, bunch of black farmers all joined the lawsuit, and they won a huge settlement because the USDA was shown to be racist for decades. So because black farmers haven't been given anything, we've been learning to do without, unlike your white farmers. So when things are taken away from you, all your subsidies, all your tax breaks, guess what? You panic. Whereas we We've always been going through this shit. So, there's problems in privilege.
So yesterday I made a video talking about the white farmers and how they were crashing out all over social media because they voted for 𝒲𝒶𝓎 and thought he was going to give them back slaves. And also, because of that, they lost 100% of their workforce due to the ICE raids. I want to come on here today and I want to give some love to black farmers who I don't think get enough, right? I can appreciate that they are not on the internet spazzing out and crashing out. You want to know why? It's because whatever is going on in the current climate when it comes to farming, they're not new to this because they have faced adversity, not being given what they need in order to be successful, unlike their white counterparts, right? Because they have been spoon-fed everything they've needed in order for them to be successful. And now that that privilege and entitlement is gone because of who they voted for, they're on the internet trying to garner some favor and some sympathy. Meanwhile, black farmers chilling. They cool as cucumbers because guess why? They know how to handle themselves and their farms during times of crisis. I guess favor ain't fair after all, huh?
We need the real workers back. I know, I'm so lazy. Trump, bring them back. We'll pay double.